Welcome to StoryPath English, where you learn English through engaging stories. Listen to inspiring tales, improve your vocabulary, and master English naturally. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on February 5, 1985, in Funchal, a small city on the Portuguese island of Madeira. His early life was shaped by modest circumstances as his family struggled financially. His father, José Denis Aveiro, earned a living as a municipal gardener, tending to the public spaces of their community with care despite the meager income it provided. His mother, Maria Dolores dos Santos Aveiro, worked as a cook, laboring long hours to prepare meals for others while ensuring her own family was fed. Together, they raised 4 children. Cristiano was the youngest, in a humble household where money was scarce and luxuries were non-existent. The family lived in a small home in the working-class neighborhood of Santo Antonio, where the realities of poverty were a constant presence. Yet, despite these challenges, Cristiano's childhood was filled with a burning passion that would ultimately define his future: football. From a very young age, Cristiano was captivated by the sport. It was more than just a pastime. It was an obsession. He played football every chance he got, whether it was kicking a worn-out ball through the narrow, uneven streets of his neighborhood, dribbling around makeshift obstacles, or joining pickup games with friends. The streets of Funchal became his first training ground, where he honed his skills with relentless determination. At school, too, he seized every opportunity to play, often prioritizing football over his studies, much to the frustration of his teachers. His natural talent was evident even then, as he outran and outmaneuvered his peers with a flair that set him apart. He played with an intensity that belied his age, driven by an unshakable love for the game and a desire to escape the limitations of his circumstances. Cristiano's family recognized his potential early on. His father, who had once been a kit man for a local football club, encouraged his son's enthusiasm, while his mother saw in him a spark that could lead to a better life. Despite their limited means, they supported him as best they could, even as they juggled their own demanding jobs. Ronaldo often joined local youth teams, including Andorinha, where his father worked, and later Nacional, one of Madeira's more prominent clubs. His skill on the pitch quickly caught attention, and it became clear that football was more than a hobby. It was his calling. At the tender age of 12, Cristiano faced a pivotal moment that would change the trajectory of his life. He was offered a chance to join the prestigious sporting CP Youth Academy in Lisbon, a renowned football institution on mainland Portugal. This opportunity, however, came with a heavy emotional cost. Leaving home meant moving over 600 miles away from Madeira, far from the familiar streets of Funchal and the comforting presence of his family. For a boy so young, the decision was daunting. He would have to leave behind his parents, his siblings, and the only world he had ever known. The journey to Lisbon marked the first real test of his resilience, as homesickness weighed heavily on him in those early days at the academy. Life at Sporting CP was not easy. The transition from a small island to the bustling capital was jarring, and Cristiano struggled to adapt. He missed his family terribly, often crying himself to sleep in the academy dormitories. His Madeiran accent made him a target for teasing among his peers, adding to his sense of isolation. Yet, beneath the sadness and the challenges, Cristiano clung to a dream that fueled his every step. He wanted to become one of the greatest footballers in the world, to lift his family out of poverty, and to make a name for himself. At the academy, He threw himself into training with a work ethic that astonished his coaches. He practiced tirelessly, refining his dribbling, perfecting his shots, and building his physical strength. Even at that young age, he displayed a discipline and determination that hinted at the superstar he would one day become. Those early sacrifices laid the foundation for Cristiano Ronaldo's extraordinary career. Leaving home at 12 was a leap of faith, but it was one he took with unwavering belief in his abilities. The streets of Funchal and the academy fields of Lisbon shaped not just his skills, but his character, instilling in him a resilience and ambition that would propel him to global stardom. From a poor boy with a ball at his feet to a legend of the sport, Cristiano's early life is a testament to the power of dreams, even in the face of hardship. At the Sporting CP Academy in Lisbon, Cristiano Ronaldo faced a new world of challenges that tested his resolve like never before. Life away from home was far from comfortable, and the academy's rigorous environment pushed him to his limits. The training sessions were grueling, long, intense, and designed to weed out those who couldn't keep up. For a 12-year-old boy from a small island, the physical and mental demands were overwhelming at times. The other boys at the academy were often bigger, stronger, and more experienced, having grown up in more competitive football environments. They towered over him on the pitch, their physical presence a stark contrast to his slight frame. Yet, despite the odds stacked against him, Cristiano refused to back down. His spirit remained unbroken, fueled by a quiet determination to prove himself. Every day at the academy was a battle, but Cristiano embraced it with a tenacity that set him apart. He trained relentlessly, pouring every ounce of energy into improving himself. Mornings began with sprints across the field, his legs pumping furiously as he worked to build his speed. Afternoons were spent perfecting his ball control, dribbling through cones, weaving past imaginary defenders, and striking the ball with precision. He practiced free kicks, crosses, and shots until his muscles ached, often staying late after the others had left, the sound of his boots against the ball echoing in the empty training ground. While his peers might have rested or complained about the exhaustion, Cristiano saw every session as a chance to get better. He wasn't just keeping up, he was outworking everyone around him. The academy wasn't just about physical challenges, it was a mental proving ground too. Living in the dormitories, far from the warmth of his family, Cristiano had to grow up fast. He learned to push through loneliness, to ignore the taunts about his accent, and to focus on what mattered, his dream. The coaches set high standards, barking orders and demanding perfection, and Cristiano absorbed their lessons like a sponge. He studied the game, watched the older players, and analyzed his own mistakes with a maturity beyond his years. Where others saw obstacles, he saw opportunities. The bigger boys might have had strength, but he countered with agility and cunning, darting past them with quick feet and a sharper mind. His hard work didn't go unnoticed. One afternoon, during a particularly intense training match, a moment of brilliance caught the eye of a seasoned coach. Cristiano had been weaving through the opposition, his movements fluid and fearless. He intercepted a pass, sprinted down the wing, and delivered a pinpoint cross that led to a goal. The coach, a grizzled veteran who had seen countless young talents come and go, paused to watch him more closely. Later, as Cristiano relentlessly chased down a loose ball and turned it into an opportunity, the coach's expression shifted from curiosity to conviction. Turning to an assistant, he said with quiet certainty, "This boy will be a star." It wasn't just the skill that impressed him. It was the hunger, the refusal to give up, the spark that radiated from Cristiano even in the chaos of the game. That prophecy wasn't an isolated opinion. As the months turned into years, more of the academy staff began to see what that coach had glimpsed. Cristiano's growth was undeniable. His body grew stronger, his technique sharper, and his confidence bolder. He started to dominate training matches, his name whispered among the players and coaches alike. The boy who had arrived as an underdog was transforming into a force of nature. The tough days, the endless drills, the moments of doubt, they were all forging him into something extraordinary. That coach's words became a quiet milestone, a marker of the potential that was beginning to bloom. For Cristiano, it was validation of his sacrifices, a sign that the path he'd chosen was leading somewhere remarkable. The academy had been his crucible, and he was emerging as a star in the making. In the summer of 2003, Cristiano Ronaldo stepped onto the pitch for a match that would alter the course of his life. It was August 6th, and Sporting CP faced off against Manchester United in a friendly to inaugurate the newly built Estadio José Alvalade in Lisbon. At just 18 years old, Cristiano was still a rising talent in Portugal, but this game would thrust him into the international spotlight. Playing on his home turf, he delivered a performance that was nothing short of electrifying. He tore through Manchester United's defense with blistering speed, leaving seasoned defenders scrambling to keep up. His strength was evident as he shrugged off challenges, holding his own against players far more experienced than he was. Most striking, though, was his skill. His footwork was dazzling, a blend of precision and flair that turned heads and quickened pulses. He dribbled with confidence, unleashed powerful shots, and orchestrated plays that showcased a maturity beyond his years. By the end of the match, which Sporting won 3-1, Cristiano had made an indelible mark. Watching from the sidelines was Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager of Manchester United. Ferguson, known for his keen eye for talent, couldn't take his eyes off the young Portuguese winger. Cristiano's audacity and brilliance left him in awe. As the game unfolded, it became clear that this wasn't just another promising youngster. This was a player with the potential to redefine the sport. In the dressing room afterward, Ferguson turned to his staff and players, his voice firm with conviction. "We need this player on our team." His players, still catching their breath after being outplayed, agreed wholeheartedly. They had felt Cristiano's impact firsthand and knew he was something special. What had started as a routine friendly had turned into an impromptu audition, and Cristiano had passed with flying colors. Negotiations moved swiftly after that night. Manchester United wasted no time in securing the transfer, striking a deal with Sporting CP for £12.24 million, a record fee at the time for a teenager. For Cristiano, the move was both a dream come true and a leap into the unknown. At 18, he was leaving behind everything familiar, his club, his country, his language, to join one of the biggest teams in the world. In August 2003, he arrived in England, a lanky teenager with a mop of highlighted hair and a quiet determination in his eyes. The Premier League was a different beast compared to the Portuguese league. Faster, more physical, and unforgiving. The spotlight was intense, and the expectations were sky high, especially as he was handed the iconic number 7 shirt, previously worn by club legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. Settling in a life in Manchester wasn't easy. The weather was cold and gray, a stark contrast to the sunny shores of Madeira. The language barrier posed its own challenges. Cristiano spoke little English at first, relying on gestures and a few broken phrases to communicate with teammates. Off the pitch, he was a young man navigating a foreign culture, far from the support of his family. On it, he faced skepticism from some quarters. Critics wondered if this flashy teenager could handle the rough and tumble of English football. Yet, Cristiano embraced the challenge with the same tenacity that had carried him through the sporting academy. He trained tirelessly, adapting his game to the league's demands while retaining the flair that made him unique. Under Ferguson's guidance, Cristiano began to flourish. The manager saw in him not just raw talent, but a hunger to improve, a quality he nurtured with a mix of tough love and unwavering belief. That match in 2003 had been the spark, the moment that brought him to Old Trafford. At 18, he was still a work in progress, but the foundations were there: speed, strength, skill, and an unrelenting drive. His journey from Lisbon to Manchester marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would see him transform from a promising talent into a global icon. The boy who had dazzled Sir Alex Ferguson that summer night was on his way to greatness. When Cristiano Ronaldo arrived in England in 2003, the transition was anything but smooth. At just 18, he found himself in a foreign land, grappling with a language he didn't speak and a culture far removed from the warmth of Madeira. Life in Manchester was a stark contrast to what he'd known. Gray skies replaced sunny beaches, and the bustling city felt worlds away from the tight-knit community of Funchal. Communication was an immediate hurdle. His English was limited to a handful of words, making it tough to connect with teammates or understand instructions on the pitch. Homesickness crept in, a quiet ache for his family and the familiarity of home. Yet, Cristiano didn't let these challenges define him. With the same grit that had carried him to Sporting CP, he threw himself into adapting. He worked diligently to learn English, piecing together phrases and practicing with determination until he could hold conversations. On the training ground, he was relentless, showing up every day to refine his skills, build his physique, and prove his worth. His hard work paid off sooner than anyone could have predicted. Under Sir Alex Ferguson's mentorship, Cristiano evolved from a raw, flashy winger into a disciplined, world-class talent. His pace, power, and precision began to shine through in matches, winning over fans who had initially been skeptical of the skinny teenager in the number 7 shirt. By his second season, he was a key player, and by 2006, he was a cornerstone of Manchester United's success. His contributions helped the club reclaim its dominance, winning 3 consecutive Premier League titles from 2006 to 2009. The pinnacle came in 2008 when he lifted the UEFA Champions League trophy, scoring a towering header in the final against Chelsea. That same year, he claimed his first Ballon d'Or, cementing his status as a global star. The trophies piled up, and so did the adoration. Cristiano had gone from an outsider to a hero at Old Trafford. In the summer of 2009, Cristiano's journey took another monumental turn. Real Madrid, one of the most storied clubs in football history, came calling with a then world record transfer fee of £80 million. At 24, he swapped Manchester for Madrid, stepping into a new chapter with sky-high expectations. The move paid off spectacularly. At Real Madrid, Cristiano didn't just thrive, he redefined greatness. His goal-scoring prowess reached unprecedented heights, blending athleticism, technique, and an insatiable hunger for success. He shattered records with ease, becoming the club's all-time leading scorer with 450 goals in 438 appearances. La Liga titles followed, But it was in the Champions League where he truly shone, leading Real Madrid to 4 triumphs between 2014 and 2018, 3 of them consecutive, a feat unmatched in the modern era. The awards poured in as well. Between 2009 and his departure from Madrid in 2018, Cristiano won 4 more Ballons d'Or, bringing his total to 5 and solidifying his claim as the world's best player alongside Lionel Messi. He broke countless records. Most goals in a single Champions League season, 17 in 2013-14. Most hat-tricks in La Liga history, and the fastest to reach 200 goals in the Spanish league. Off the pitch, his fame soared. Endorsements, magazine covers, and a larger-than-life persona made him a global icon. Yet beneath the glitz, his work ethic remained his bedrock. He trained with the intensity of a rookie, always chasing the next milestone. Cristiano's time at Real Madrid marked the peak of his transformation. The boy who had struggled in England had become a titan of the sport, a name synonymous with excellence. His journey from Manchester to Madrid wasn't just about trophies or records. It was about a relentless pursuit of perfection that turned challenges into triumphs and dreams into history. By 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't just a star. He was the best, and the world knew it. Cristiano Ronaldo's ascent to football legend status unfolded across an extraordinary career that spanned multiple clubs and continents, each chapter adding to his towering legacy. After dominating at Real Madrid, he sought a fresh challenge in 2018, joining Juventus in Italy's Serie A for a €100 million transfer fee. At 33, many wondered if his peak had passed, but Cristiano silenced doubters with his trademark brilliance. In Turin, he powered Juventus to 2 consecutive league titles, scoring 101 goals in 134 appearances and showcasing his adaptability in a new league. His aerial ability, clinical finishing, and leadership shone through, proving that age was no barrier to his ambition. In 2021, he made a sensational return to Manchester United, the club where he'd first risen to stardom. Though his second stint was shorter and more turbulent, ending in 2022, he still delivered moments of magic, hat-tricks and decisive goals that reminded fans of his enduring quality. Parallel to his club exploits, Cristiano's devotion to Portugal elevated his nation's footballing stature. He debuted for the senior team in 2003 and, over 2 decades, became Portugal's all-time leading scorer and appearance maker, with over 130 goals. His crowning achievement came in 2016, captaining Portugal to the UEFA European Championship, the country's first major trophy. Bloodied and bandaged from an injury in the final, he coached from the sidelines, his will to win palpable. Later, in 2019, he added the UEFA Nations League title, further cementing his status as a national hero. Across his career, spanning Sporting CP, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Juventus, and Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia since 2023, he amassed over 30 major trophies, a haul that reflects his relentless pursuit of glory. Today, Cristiano stands as one of the greatest footballers in history, a colossus whose impact transcends statistics. His physical gifts remain awe-inspiring. At 40, he retains the strength to leap higher than defenders half his age, the speed to outpace opponents, and the stamina to play every minute with intensity. But it's his mentality that truly defines him. He never gives up. Not when he was a homesick boy in Lisbon, not when he faced skepticism in England, and not when injuries or setbacks loomed. That resilience has fueled a career of over 870 goals, making him the highest-scoring player in men's football history. His trophy cabinet glitters with 5 Champions League titles, 7 league championships across 3 countries, and individual honors like 5 Ballons d'Or, each a testament to his dominance. Cristiano's story is more than a highlight reel. It's a lesson etched in sweat and sacrifice. From a poor kid kicking a ball on Madeira streets to a global icon, his journey teaches us the power of hard work. He didn't coast on talent. He honed it daily, turning weaknesses into strengths through discipline. Never give up isn't just a phrase for him. It's a creed he's lived, pushing through adversity to rewrite records and expectations. Above all, his unwavering belief in himself shines as a beacon. When coaches doubted, when critics sneered, when the odds stacked against him, Cristiano trusted his vision and backed it with action. That ethos resonates beyond football. His influence inspires millions. Kids dreaming on dusty pitches, athletes chasing their own goals, anyone facing long odds. He's not just a legend for what he's won, but for how he's won it, with grit, grace, and an unshakable spirit. As he continues to play, now with Al Nassr in Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo remains a living testament to what's possible when you work hard, refuse to quit, and believe you can conquer the world, one goal at a time. And that was the inspiring journey of Cristiano Ronaldo. Just like Ronaldo mastered football with dedication and practice, you can master English the same way. Here are some quick tips to improve your English. Listen to stories. The more you listen, the more natural English will sound to you. Repeat and speak. Try repeating sentences aloud to improve pronunciation. Learn new words. Note down new words and use them in daily conversation. Think in English. Instead of translating, try forming thoughts directly in English. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and soon you'll be speaking English fluently. See you in the next story.